Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with a new Dexter resurrection theory for you guys, and I think this one is going to be really, really fun to dive into and discuss.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to be talking about Charley and Charley's mom because there's been a lot of discussion online that Charley's mom is the Ripper and
Mhm.
that the reason that, she's not out here killing anybody anymore is because now she is bedridden and unable to. And that's why the Ripper stopped killing people and is now instead like calling the families and having all these talks with everybody, and that maybe
Yeah.
she's using a voice disguiser. But we're here to present something a little bit different. What if Charley's mom was actually a victim of the Ripper that got away? And that is the reason why Charley instead is like, anti-killer and not really into this side of what Leon is doing. That of course she'll take the paycheck and she'll be his security and do what she has to do, but on the other side she's not into all this like killer stuff because something like that happened to her mom in the past.
Yeah, and I think this theory video is a great opportunity to all get into our own metaphorical chopper here around New York City and take a tour of everything that this theory means and sort of set the stage for what has happened with Charley's life, why she's moved in this direction, why she's working with Prater. And I think all of it connects in a really, really interesting way where, if this theory as you presented turns out to be true on the show, like this could be something that could easily carry forward into season 2 and if not beyond even that.
Yeah, I mean, we are feeling pretty confident that we will probably see Charley again next season. That
Yeah.
if this is the way that it is, that maybe then Charley is out here trying to deal with the fact that the Ripper has come after her mom at one point, that her mom was able to get away. Then maybe, just maybe, Charley and Dexter might be able to find a way to either let each other go by the end of this season or come together next season to be taking out these killers, because it is something that Charley feels pretty passionate about, even though her job is to protect Leon at this point. She's probably like in her mind just trying to find a way to make it okay to be like, well, Leon's not killing anybody. And if he's not killing anybody, then okay, I'll take this paycheck.
I think the number one thing for us all to remember before we even get into the specifics here, we have seen Charley's mother for a reason. And I don't think it's as simple as it's just we're trying to humanize this character. Because you guys probably
No.
remember the olden days of the OG Dexter when you had 12 episode seasons. They only have 10 episodes now.
Right.
This is not like there is all this extra space that they have to fill. We're dealing with a very limited amount of real estate. Every minute that Clyde Phillips and the rest of the crew is cooking something up, like that's because they are putting the ingredients in for, like, I don't know, a souffle, a ratatouille, any other fancy dish you want to name.
Yeah, I don't think Charley's mom is there just to give her this more human side of things. That Charley has barely been on this show, if we're
Yes.
being really honest about it. You have Uma Thurman, who has barely been on the show, who has barely had a role. She is the security for Leon, and we could have gotten more with her that isn't just through this, going through with her mom. It's not enough. I'm not
No.
really learning anything about Charley by, oh, she has a mom that's in the hospital and not doing well. Okay, like this isn't really connecting to anything.
Okay, well, before we tell the full story of how we got here with Charley and her mom, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are here several times a week with all things Dexter Resurrection. We've got reviews for you guys, previews, a whole smorgasbord of theories. We love talking theories with you guys, and subscribing is the best way to not only support us, but make sure you don't miss anything that we're bringing to the table next.
Absolutely. And if you want to talk to us further about Dexter, you can head over to our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you
Mhm.
below. We're talking about Dexter over there as well, with polls and discussion, all kinds of fun stuff going on over there, Dexter wise. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate
Mhm.
that. All right, first and foremost, though, we need to jump into that time machine and head pretty far back
Oh,
into the past.
oh, all right. Beep, beep, bop, bop. Boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Okay, we're in the
Wow.
past.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
Here we
you
are.
said far back,
Yeah,
man.
I
It
know
takes
there
a
was some
while.
extra beeps in there. Okay, so now we are multiple decades perhaps in the past here because one of the things that was established in the big speech that Claudette gave on this past episode is that she's been chasing the Ripper ever since she joined the Force. Now, I understand it's possible she might be a prodigy. Maybe she joined later in life and moved up the ranks. But assuming that basically she joined the Force in her 20s, that the Ripper has been active now for decades. And so let's say hypothetically that I was about to say that Uma Thurman's mother, that Charley's mother was attacked by the Ripper decades ago.
Right.
And that is what happened. I know her mom is in the hospital right now due to a tumor. I feel like that part of it might be a little bit of a red herring. But let's assume that this all happened decades ago. And we know, at least from some of the history that's presented on the show, that Charley went to law school and that she has that angle. So is there a chance that she went there thinking, okay, I'm going to learn how to be a lawyer, so I'm going to make sure that bad people get really taken to justice and that I can ensure that I'm actually being, a savior. We hear about this all the time in the news, of people who turn to whether being an attorney, a law enforcement, after seeing something really terrible happen to somebody they love.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing that with Harrison too. Justice. How do I get real justice? How am I able to help stop the bad guys, sort of thing? And it feels very much like, I mean, she's even in security, right? Protecting people from the bad guys, except now she's in this situation where she's protecting someone who's, for all, accounts and purposes, is a bad guy. I mean, he's bringing killers in and giving them money to continue to sort of pay for what they're doing and pay for their killings. And I think she probably didn't always know that this was exactly what she was going to be doing, but maybe she was like, I have to pay for these hospital bills and this pays the bills.
Yeah, I think there probably were a lot of things running through her head at that point. But here's another interesting tidbit about Charley's past. And this hasn't necessarily been confirmed on the show, but it was confirmed in the character descriptions that came out that Charley has a history in special ops, which was one of my favorite tinfoil hat theories before the season, that Charley and Dokes actually know each other because Dokes is also special ops.
Listen, that is still not off the table. All theories are still on the table until they say that it's not true. It's still out there.
Yes, okay, listen, guys, I'm riding high off of the Jim and I twin theory here. Let's keep it rolling. No, I thought that would be interesting, but really the point here to make is that maybe Charley did try this legal angle, it didn't work.
Right.
And then maybe she is kind of getting into this sense of, all right, well, maybe the only way to really get justice is to take on some of these people head on. The system's not working. How can I ensure that I do this? It's probably by becoming the closest thing to a killing machine that I can personally. And I think going through like this particular arm of the military, they teach you pretty much anything. It's like, I'm not an expert in any of this, but I feel pretty confident in saying that if you're in special ops.
Yeah, and I mean, we have seen her at the beginning of this take out the clubber, who was like breaking the rules of this killer party sort of thing, and he was taken out for it. So I feel like she's okay to do some of this if she's taking out other killers, which is very much along the Dexter line.
Yeah, like they do have a certain element in common. I don't know if Charley, would she ever acknowledge that? That remains to be seen, because I think right now she's just suspicious of quote unquote red in general. But this then brings us into the idea of Prater, where it is like, okay, if she doesn't like killers, if she wants to stop people from doing bad things, why is she working with Leon? I think it probably comes down to the fact that if you are, former special ops, or you're involved in this sort of training, you become a part of a bodyguard industry. And I have watched multiple documentaries on Netflix, so I am an expert in bodyguards for celebrities, guys. Yeah, you're really talking. But I know that a lot of times bodyguard culture, it's like a small little family, and you kind of hear things from other bodyguards. And I'm just wondering if she somehow heard through the grapevine that there was something off about Leon. He had some sort of fixation. Like, what led her to Leon's door?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough background on that at this point. Has she been working with him before he was bringing in these killers, or was she brought in specifically to bring in these killers? And maybe she thought she could be the Dexter of it all to like take them out in some sort of way, but it was going to look too suspicious. And even though she got herself in the door, she was like, how do I do this without outing myself? I really feel that the mother is connected to this, but just not in the way that a lot of people think that she is the Ripper. I just don't think that she is. I think either she was a victim, or, you know, maybe someone else in the family, that they all like, maybe the Ripper went after a bunch of them and she escaped and her mom escaped, but maybe some other people didn't escape and she's just looking for a way to stop it. And then, yeah, maybe she found out through the grapevine, or maybe he hired her specifically for this and she was like, okay, if I can get to these killers and maybe he hasn't into the Ripper, I'm gonna wait for that moment that he's able to bring the Ripper to the table, and then me and that Ripper, we're gonna have a conversation.
That's exactly where I want to see things go. I want this to be all about Charley is in this job for your favorite thing, revenge. She wants
Revenge.
revenge on what happened to her mother a long time
John
ago.
Wick them.
Yes, and I think Uma Thurman might be capable of this. She may
Yes.
not be John Wick, but she's Kill Bill. It's close enough. And
Yes.
ultimately, I do think that she probably views Prater as a means to that end. And if he's been able to track down a lot of other killers, why not this? And I think this would all chart with, we constantly just see her either annoyed or frustrated. Like, it's pretty clear she just does not like this guy. And if you
No.
don't like this guy, why are you still in this job? Like, I understand he probably pays very well given the secrets that she has to keep, but
And she has a sick mom.
I also just feel like there got to be other rich billionaires you could go and work for, Charley. It seems like you're qualified. It feels like you have another motive for wanting to be with Leon in particular here.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be another motive with this, and I feel like if she knows that he can get his hands on some pretty prolific killers. I mean, the Gemini killer's been out here
Yeah.
having podcasts and books and movies about him. That if he can get his hands on the New York Ripper, and she knows that there's a bit of a connection there already. Oh, he's been terrorizing the streets, you know, since I was a child, or however he said it, that she knows that that is someone he could possibly bring to the table. I think she's just biding her time.
And this all brings us to something you said earlier about both her and Dexter. They're taking out killers. And right now, it feels like we're at this point where at the very least Charley recognizes that, you know, something theoretically is off with the situation.
Right.
Like, she's much more concerned than Prater clearly is. It's not unfathomable that eventually she's going to figure out the truth about Dexter at some point. And if she does, but she then also figures out, oh, this is exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Mhm.
She does strike me as the type here, and, you know, we like to mention Lumen in almost every video we possibly can. It feels like there is a little bit of a Lumen scenario here where she can be like, okay, I may not be exactly like you, but I will team up with you for a while because I want the Ripper gone, and you will be more than happy to kill him.
Absolutely. And she may also be happy to kill him, depending on whatever it is that the Ripper did or did not do to her family. I can't figure out any other real connection for having the mother there, because otherwise, if all we're getting is backstory on Charley, then for what reason? Like,
Yeah.
it almost feels like whenever she goes to visit her mom, that I'm in another show. Like, it's not connecting to anything the way that everything else is hitting this season.
Yeah.
There has to be something more to it. And I just don't think she's the Ripper.
And I think this would all set up potentially for a season 2 that not only would be really fun, but also exciting and different, where it's like, okay, Uma, we didn't necessarily give you as much to do this first season, but it's okay. We're promising you more in season 2. It's kind of like Demi Moore and Landman, except Landman sucks and this show does not.
I was going to say Sarah Michelle Gellar on Original Sin, where it's like she was in like 5 minutes of the show for no reason.
I'm pulling my sword out to fight all the Landman fans in the comments now, but it's just like, I just feel like there's gonna be so much more of Uma on this show moving forward, just because Dexter as a franchise, it kind of needs to constantly reinvent itself, right? Like, it can't do the same thing every single season. I think having Charley and Dexter working together in a season 2 to take down the Ripper. That's really compelling, but
Mhm.
beyond just that, they kind of do need more permanent cast members for next season because, like, does anyone really think Prater's gonna be around longer than the finale? I'm skeptical.
Well, I also really enjoy it when Dexter is working with someone, even if it turns out later that he's just like, yeah, I'm going to have to kill off Miguel. I'm sorry, it just didn't work out. Or
Yeah,
I'm going to have to kill off Trinity. I thought you were a mentor, but really you're a problem. And with Lumen, who we do mention every video, where they were working together until her dark passenger left. And then he was able to move into something else and she was able to move on. Like, I really like it when he is connected with someone. And I really like Uma Thurman. So if this can really move in that direction where she's looking for revenge, she's looking for the New York Ripper, he's going to be looking for the New York Ripper. Let's work together and find that person.
yeah, I think that's just a really fun foundation and something they probably told Uma about even before she ended up being taking on the role. That was just like, okay, we're gonna build you to this point, but we gotta get rid of a lot of other things first to constantly, throw the audience off the scent a little bit.
I hope that's the case because they're just killing everybody off
I
at
know.
this point. Like they've have all these huge guest stars and like almost everybody's gone.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking about now, where it's just like, okay, like we've already lost David Dismulchin, we've lost Kristen Ritter,
Oh,
Neil Patrick Harris. I mean,
Al's probably next.
yeah, and then it's like, okay, are we gonna lose Peter in the finale? And then like,
Yep.
what's gonna happen to Angel? Is he gonna got?
Yep.
Everybody has 200 Blessing Kamara theories that are out there. It's just like no series regular other than maybe Dexter and Harris scene is like really, really safe. We've already done the video about how Ella's gonna kill Elsa, so
I
like she's
know.
not even safe. So
No.
they need someone stable. Maybe Charley is that person.
Mhm.
But let's turn this over to you guys. What do you think about the idea that Charley's mother is actually a previous victim of the Ripper who managed to survive? And is this all her motivation? Let us know in the comments and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Dexter coverage. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you so, so much.
Thank
We
you.
will see you here next time.